Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I should add, with all your prayers, I'll go right along. Okay, so the topic today is birth. So that's actually a singular kind of topic, but actually it's, as I got into it, it really expanded. So the word birth usually brings to mind a joyous occasion of a baby coming into the world. Birth is more than this joyous moment. It has roots that bring it to this joyous moment. It is the biological journey of development from conception to the point of drawing the first breath. In the sense that birth is a new beginning, so too is change. From this point of view, change and birth are synonymous with a new energetic creation into the reality of our environment. Our aura expands with every thought, word, and action. In this expansion, we give birth to the creation of energy, and it touches others and develops however it may. This can also be known as karma. Our karma, because we created it. It is what it is, and it lasts as long as it lasts, even over lifetimes. Thank goodness we have an eternity to balance this karma represented in the yin-yang. A wise man recently told me that my conception was decided before my parents were born. Actually, when I say wise man, that is just me kissing up to Reverend David.
That's not quite true.
So you can see how far back in time and how long roots may extend even over lifetimes of reincarnation. For example, I am in my 70s, so I have waited almost 3/4 of a century for this moment to give birth to this talk. Now, when I say it like that, it sounds like a wow moment. Some might even think, wow, I am going to be witness to a birth of something that took almost 3/4 of a century to develop to the maturity of the talk of a speech. Wow, it must be precious. And then I thought to myself, yeah, I could go on for 5 minutes talking about how precious I am. Of course, I mean the I am that I am. If we think of the I am that I am, that is us, then we might realize how significant and how powerful this creation of energy that is us really is, and how far-reaching it is, even beyond lifetimes. Now, how can I say that? In one word, karma. From our soul in the Akashic records are recorded lifetimes of what we thought, what we said, and what we did in the creation of energy that still is alive. Because the spiritual energy that we have created and have given birth to lasts forever. Because we are forever. That is how powerful the I am that I am is within us. So when you are dealing with a situation, please pause for a moment, if it is appropriate to pause, and think and feel to what it is that you are about to create and give birth. In the affirmation in our program, it says, I am that I am, the light of the living God, and therefore I am free and all-knowing. Ignite my soul with thy spirit, O God, I pray. Now the part that says ignite could also say create with your energy or give birth to my soul with thy spirit, O God, I pray. Now related to the wise man telling me how far back the birth thought of the creation of my conception was, I will share a moment of one of my ESP moments, extrasensory perception, That happened around 1971, give or take a year. I never told anyone this because it is somewhat awkward, and I know I would have gotten one of those funny looks, like I was ready for a straitjacket in a padded room. Anyway, 48 or 49 years ago, I was in downtown San Diego in an elevator going up to the second floor to the city office for utilities for the first time. I was in the elevator alone, and now pausing for a moment, I will go back even further, about 2 years earlier, when I was in a class at City College. I had recently gotten out of the service. This was a time when I had a full-sized afro hairstyle and a mustache and beard with military glasses. There was a co-ed in the class that sat near me who on occasion would strike up a conversation with me, and one time asked me to take off my glasses so she could see what I looked like. I won't go into how I did that, but I scared her. I really did. I scared several people in the room because I did so, but that's not the speech here. So I was still my playful self even then. So now jumping 2 years forward to the elevator, I got this clairsentient and clairvoyant message to get down on my knees. This is in the elevator, nobody else there. Hold my arms out, bow my head down, okay, like this, only looking down at the floor, and when the elevator doors opened, I was to say out loud without looking up, "Marry me." Yeah, exactly. So talking to Spirit, I made a face, and I kind of turned like this, like there was somebody there, and I said, "What?" I says, "I am not going to do that. Anybody on the other side of the doors will think I'm nuts, and I will be embarrassed in creating a very awkward moment. Besides, there might be a couple of guys in their 50s in business suits, and how is that going to look?" Now, as the doors opened, there appeared 3 gorgeous young ladies my age. Who knew? A brunette with a beehive hairdo, which was common for the time, in the middle, and a blonde on either side of her, all dressed very fashionably in the style of that era. I am thinking, Sister Wives. That's a TV program that's on TV. No, I didn't really think that, because it didn't exist then. But there was TV at that time. Anyway, let's see. The brunette was the co-ed who 2 years earlier had asked me to take off my glasses to see what I looked like. Yeah. So there, as I stepped out of the elevator, there was no way she would have recognized me because I was clean shaven, no hair on my face, had a short curly haircut with fashionable glasses of the time. Now, 48 to 49 years later, I realized Spirit did not literally want me to do what I was shown and told, but not by the ear, just kind of clairsentient. What I believe now is that I was being shown that this person would be a good mate, and possibly the entity conveying the message might even have been the one who wanted us as parents. Who knows? I don't know. I had to reason it out some way. Anyways, besides the point of how far back in time prior to the idea of conception and actual birth from the wise man, this decision of mine to tell Spirit to back off because I had other priorities created an energy that gave birth to a different direction in my life. Oddly, I had a part-time job at the time, and after a year and a half, I had done such a good job. Basically, my boss did not have to do much, his last year and a half, that prior to retiring, he offered me his well-paying job. So I could have gotten married to this girl and bought a house. Who knew? So I gave birth to a different direction due to my choices. The direction of energy created a pathway of karma. Now, I related this story because I want to point out another example of energy we create. In our prayer, as we hold our donation offering, the prayer states, "May it be enhanced tenfold when we give freely and from the heart." So the concept is that it will multiply. What happens is by giving, we create, generate, give birth to energy that, like a pebble causing a rippling effect in the water of a pond, our donation allows this chapel to stay open and provide and create energy through counseling, classes, prayer, etc., to who knows how many. So in the span of a year, that is 365 days of energy or balanced karma, we have created. So compounding that is much more than the concept of tenfold. Now I say balanced karma because the prayer also says, give freely and from the heart. For example, say you arrived at the airport and called a taxi to take you to your hotel. Now towards the end of your ride, you begin to notice the buildings seem similar. Not because you've been there before, but because the taxi has been going around in circles for the last 15 minutes. So you arrive at your hotel and you pay what the meter says. Now you can argue with the cab driver and give birth within yourself the unharmonious energy and dealing with the consequences of the circumstances of the situation and brood about it for however long. Or you can give freely and from the heart and not attach to anything and move on with your life. So, change gives birth to energy that is karma. I'll say that again. Change gives birth to energy that is karma. Now, what does that mean? Our life is a journey of decision making of how we deal with the consequences of circumstances in a situation. The how we deal with aspect is what creates the energy that gives birth to the rippling effect of energy we create, and how that ignites the reality of our environment that affects ourself and others. This is our karma. We gave birth to that energy. Karma is what it is. Karma lasts as long as it lasts. There is no disconnect between this side and the other side. The energy is already there. All you have to do is ignite the energy, and when you do, you give birth to activating the movement of that energy to work within and for you. And when you create movement in this energy, you are creating karma, and karma is just energy, balanced or unbalanced, harmonious or unharmonious within the yin-yang. The invocation, pardon me, the invocation is filled with birthing. All-knowing, which art within us, hallowed be I am. Ignite or give birth to our understanding that we are eternal spiritual beings with the power to create or give birth to happiness, health, and wealth in our lives. And here it is again. Ignite or give birth to our understanding that our choices belong to us and are the seeds that create our lives. Basically, like the job decision I made almost 50 years ago, we create energy, balanced or unbalanced, with the yin-yang that becomes our karma. Now, thank goodness for the next part of the invocation. Ignite or give birth to forgiveness of self. And as we ignite or give birth to forgiveness of others. We give thanks for the power and the glory of I am in all. Amen. Now, karma is energy that is recorded. If there is an imbalance or resonance that is not with harmony, for example, with the yin-yang energy, then the energy that was created at some time in the future, and this could be lifetimes, will have a chance to be balanced. What I have learned in the origin and reality of self is that the I am that I am means I am eternal in that God made me in her essence, meaning I also have a God self. One might ask, why am I embodied in a body that is going to die? If I am eternal and I am or have a God self, my answer to that is that I am in a reality that has a universe and a human body that have both been created by the hand of God, and both are growing and developing with experience. And that experience entails birth energy. In other words, the energy of matter, biological and non-biological, have a constant that has been in play for eternity in many lifetimes and many versions of this universe. Before stating what the constant is, I must first state the particulars of the condition. First, there is the situation, any situation. Then there are the circumstances from the situation. Then there are the consequences from the circumstances from the situation. Then there is how the consequences of the circumstances of the situation are dealt with. And then there is the energetic environment given birth to or created from how the consequences were dealt with. Basically, the effects of what was created by our choice of response. Hence, our karma. The constant is that this has, does, and will occur for every second of every embodiment and version of the universe throughout eternity. As biological life forms, we're able to give birth to or create in mental and physical form, to think, to say, and to do, and give form to energy with free will. Again, the resulting effect of what is generated by us is our karma. Our Mother, Father, God has provided this environment and ability in this playground for our development. One might ask, why do we need to develop if we have a God self? My answer to that is to use our limited reasoning to understand God would be to limit God, and God is limitless. If we understood God, then we would not need to ask that question or any other. Therefore, this is proof of our need to develop, even though we have a God self in the spiritual aspect of ourself. Another example of birth in the science that has helped me the most, epistemology, the science of the study of nature and grounds of knowledge limits. For me, the lessons, the knowledge learned, and the expansion of awareness is the difference from the start of this seminary class to where I am now. The consciousness of God makes everything possible. Knowing what it is not sufficient to understanding it. The consciousness of God is still developing. If God were not, then God would have stopped, ending God's development, which would mean God is limited. God is not limited. Therefore, the consciousness that is God is still developing. This means change, karma, and birth are eternal. Earth is a birthing planet. Everything about Earth is growth and development, sometimes by means of violence and destruction. For example, this is how Earth was created and formed over time. And lastly, Around 2002, I experienced my soul slowly beginning to leave my body. I experienced a very low point in my life where I was losing my marriage, losing my dream house, felt like I was losing my livelihood, but was only losing my work position and felt like I had been betrayed at work because I had been betrayed at work. So in a phone call, when all this hit me at once, I felt I had nothing to live for. For an instant, life had lost its meaning. I felt my soul's energy slowly traveling from my fingertips and toes in unison, inwards towards my abdomen area. I was just observing this, stunned, and the instant I questioned it, the sensation I was feeling vanished. When we were born, part of our umbilical cord detached from the placenta. When we transition, our soul will detach from the physical body, and we will experience rebirth and go to the other side. Thank you.